Awesome. All right. Okay. So let's get started. So welcome everyone to the OFPA webinar with Nicole. My name's Marin. I'm a member of the OFPA Board of Directors, and I also work for Compass Group Canada as National Director of HSQA Programs. In terms of a bit of on a personal note, I guess. So I personally struggled quite a bit with the transition from school to the workforce. This was back in 2003 before FoodGrads existed, and Nicole will talk about that organization. So I personally would have benefited from those opportunities back in the day. I hope you'll find the information that Nicole will present to you really valuable, not only as a student and somebody who's preparing or transitioning into the workforce, but maybe also even as somebody who's already in the industry and struggles with finding the right talent. In terms of, so let's pivot a little bit and talk about Nicole a little bit. So Nicole is Talent Solutions Manager, and she focuses on food and beverage industry. And after 10 years in the in that industry, she realized there's a bit of a gap between graduates and the industry, and graduates really needed the support to kickstart their career. So in 2016, she started FoodGrads, and some of you might be familiar with that already, to help bridge that gap between graduates and the industry. And then sometimes later, 5 years later, she sold FoodGrads to a company that owns CareersNFood.com and AgCareers.com, and also DeLacy North America. And she now works for DeLacy, and she continues her previous mission to continue growing FoodGrads and creating those relationships with colleges and universities. So I'll stop there and I'll turn it over to Nicole.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have to say, Marin and I have known each other for a few years now, because after I started FoodGrads in 2016, he was kind enough to join an event that we were that I was working on with. It wasn't called CareersNOW at the time; it was Taste Your Future. But yeah, so I appreciate being invited in today to speak. I'm going to share my screen with you. Hopefully everyone can see that. So yeah, FoodGrads. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background. So as Marin mentioned, I recruited in the food industry for about 10 years, or I have done now for 10 years. But even prior to that, I would say 2015, 2014, I was working with clients that were asking for specific experience and excuse me, education. And I realized that I was reaching out to the same individuals, that, the talent pool was really small. At the same time, I would have students and grads approach me and ask me for advice and support on how to find a job. And I didn't know where to send them. There was nowhere really to send them. There was no one supporting students and grads, and certainly employers weren't looking to pay a fee to hire students and grads into their organization. So FoodGrads was born really out of a necessity and a gap that I noticed. And as was mentioned, fast forward, I started in 2016. It was really a platform where we celebrated the people and professions. I started working with some students and gaining a little bit of traction in that respect, in terms of sharing stories of people in the industry. And then in 2017, I did partner with an organization through Food and Beverage Ontario, and they had a platform called Taste Your Future. So it was really cool, because at that time, it kind of solidified everything that I was thinking, but there was government funding involved. So Taste Your Future and FoodGrads partnered, and we did some great things in 2017, and that's where we did our showcase, which is when I met Marin. So fast forward to 2021, obviously we all went through the pandemic, and there was lots of changes and things like that. And I definitely felt the effects of that personally. So decided to look further afield in terms of how can I take FoodGrads to the next level. Again, the need never disappeared, and actually amplified over the pandemic, because as we know, our industry wasn't really losing people. We were busy as ever. Food service, yes, suffered, but the food and beverage processing side didn't really suffer. You know, if anything, we were very busy, and so the talent attraction and the attraction and retention piece was still as important as ever. So in 2021, I did sell FoodGrads to the Talent Solutions group that you see on your screens there.
Hi,
Careers.
Nicole.
Yes.
Do you mind going to the presentation mode? Just sorry to interrupt. Just to make the slide a bit bigger for everyone.
Does that work?
Yes.
That's
awesome.
That's the preview.
So this is what I would. So is this one? No.
No, I think it would be your others. So sharing your other screen. Sorry, I'm really sorry.
No worries. No.
Yeah. So stop sharing and
I think
try
if you right click on it, you should have a setting. Right. So hide presenter view.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah. No worries. Sorry about that. So then okay. Perfect. Awesome. Sorry. I'm very technically challenged, so I need all the support I can get. So yes, the Talent Solutions Group at Careers, CareersNFood.com, and DeLacy. So I still work with DeLacy, which is the executive recruitment side. So if a company has a search requirement, director of operations, product developer, you name it, if it's within food and beverage processing, I support those clients. But I'm thrilled to be able to continue the work I'm doing with FoodGrads, which is, you know, it gives me both ends of the spectrum, so I can stay current with working with employers, as well as working with students and grads and bringing them into the industry. So when so I'm going to fast forward to this slide actually. So what is FoodGrads? We have a number of resources on the website, specifically for students and grads, but we also partner with schools. We're up to around 6 or actually 8 now that we are partnering with, and really amplifying the programs, the courses that they offer, and amplifying the industry. So FoodGrads is seen almost as the voice of the industry, but we work with the individual colleges and universities in order to do that. It's a new program, just started at the beginning of this year. And as I mentioned, we've got about 8 schools that are working with us, and we're looking to really grow that. And the goal is really to have inter-school competitions and communication, and how can we as a body emphasize and grow the messaging, that how there is an amazing opportunity for students and graduates to join the food industry. And that sort of leads me to that slide. I kind of should have put them the other way around. So when we do work with our education partners, the first thing we do is speak to their students and grads, and they don't have to be enrolled in a specific food program. You know, this industry needs everybody, HR people, you know, business, sales and marketing. It's not just people that have decided on a food career, somebody in a food science program or you know, food safety. It's really anybody that has an interest in the food industry. And you know, there's so much work to do in this industry to improve it, you know, with regards to sustainability. You know, I talk about the fact that if you want to make an impact, where else better to join than the food industry, where, you know, packaging, food safety, you know, you know, nutrition, there are so many, food waste, I was going to say, there are so many areas. It doesn't really matter what you're interested in or what problem you want to solve. You can find that opportunity in the food industry. And I really enjoy speaking to students and have them kind of have that aha moment that, you know, we've never thought of the food and beverage industry in that way. And it doesn't shock me when I hear that. We do work with Agscape, one of our partners, and they are in the classroom at the secondary level. And I did an event a few months ago now, and I asked the students, tell me the jobs that you think of when you think of food and beverage processing. And literally every group that came by, I think there was 10 groups in the morning, 10 groups in the afternoon, and they all said farmer or chef or butcher. And so it was 2 extremes. And you know, I would smile and say, you know, there are so many more opportunities for you to explore. And it's an industry that's not going anywhere. So I know I'm preaching to the choir to this group, but I think it takes a village to really attract people to food and beverage processing, because it's not really part of the conversation at the school level, and we're certainly looking to change that. So that's what we're doing, partnering with education partners. When a school becomes an education partner, it's a fantastic opportunity for their students to get involved. So we have our campus ambassadors that provide us with blogs. They get to have a spotlight, share their reasons for why they are pursuing a career in the food and beverage industry. They get to sort of talk about their experience at their school. So it does promote the school as well, and hopefully help with their enrollment. But it's really an opportunity for them to shine. And I know as a recruiter, if I'm looking at 20 resumes that all look the same, but I see a resume from a recent graduate that not only has some great relevant hands-on work experiences, which is what all employers are looking for, but have published work with FoodGrads or any entity really, but they're sort of talking about the impact they want to make in the industry, or why they chose the industry. I just think that would stand out to me. I know that would stand out to me as a recruiter, because it really shows that they're not just looking for any job. They really are passionate about this industry, and hopefully the company that they're interviewing with. So I've included pictures there. So our last group of campus ambassadors were invited to the Steam Whistle event through Food and Beverage Ontario because of the connections that we have. And they got to meet with Minister Lisa Thompson. And I mean, it was fantastic. They were so confident. They worked the room. And it was a great opportunity to network with employers and ask questions and get, connect with people on LinkedIn afterwards, and all the great networking advice that we give them. So this slide, I don't know if we do have employers on the call today, but I wanted to bring your attention to some of the opportunities we have for employers to connect with students and graduates as well. And also not just students and grads. Because of our sister company, Careers in Food, there are products available through the job board. Certainly job posting, that's the obvious one, but there are other products as well to support hiring, retention, onboarding, all that good stuff as well. I think most people today are more interested in the resources, but obviously at the end of this, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have if I haven't fully dove into any particular piece here. And I can certainly share this presentation with Maren afterwards, who can share it with the group. So we're really proud of the resources on FoodGrads. A lot of the time it's just a case of knowledge and not understanding. So for this particular group, obviously I focused in food safety, the resources we have there. We offer a page that dives into the different departments in the food and beverage space that would be in a typical organization. And then in each area, we dive into the different career paths. So here you can see food safety manager, quality control technician. We're always going to add to this. This is going to be an ongoing library. We don't ever want it to get stale either. So it is digital, it's easily updated, and we have ebooks on each of these sections as well. And the ebooks are really cool. I think, that's a bigger picture there. Obviously, we do promote the education partners we work with. Employers can also buy ad space in there as well. But they are, more importantly, jam-packed full of great information in terms of what the particular position looks like, what they do, how they fit within the entire space, how their role affects the whole organization. We also have someone that Veronica, I should say, that will find resources. That's not just us. We're collaborative. We don't want to just promote our own things. If there's someone that has shared a video, that's amazing and will support attraction to a particular position, we'll share it in these ebooks. It really does take a lot of people to come with their stories and their resources and their ideas to inspire people to look at this area. And we're super passionate about the area of food safety. I had a conversation literally a couple of days ago where there's so much we can do to promote the food safety professional as a hero, because you are. I mean, it's just a fact. And I think through the pandemic, we did a little bit of that. The government put some dollars behind marketing our food heroes, but that should be continuous. And it should be, it's important. It's a way to attract people that young people that want to make a difference in the world can, if they choose food safety as a career path. And so we're certainly interested to promote that and highlight that. We also have our podcast, which, I'm so proud. We're at, I think, around 76, 77 episodes now. Veronica Hislop is our podcast host. She came to FoodGrads as a campus ambassador, as somebody that was at TMU, formerly Ryerson, and she was doing her general chemistry degree, and she wanted to go into food, and there was no real resources on campus, no direction, no guidance, and so she discovered FoodGrads and said, can I help promote what you're doing on campus, because I can't be alone, and there is nothing here. So she kind of formed she was like the original campus ambassador, and has just taken off since then. So she's really instrumental in the FoodGrads platform. She is our host. These are some of the areas that she's covered, but we're always open to guest speakers, people that have a inspiring story to share. And certainly anybody on this call today, if you're interested to be a guest on the podcast, let us know. We'd love to have you if you want to share your story and you feel that you can inspire the next generation. Again, it takes all different stories. People see themselves in your story. And one of the things I can definitely say as a recruiter is no one's story is the same. Nobody's path is the same. And so I think that's reassuring. When I was starting out, it can be very daunting when people are saying, what do you want to do? What do you want to do for the rest of your life? Who can say? And I think the best thing about the food industry is you don't have to know. Maybe you have a plan for the next 2, 3 years, 5 years, but after that, you can move around in the industry very, very easily, because you understand the industry so well. It's so niche. And there are so many nuances, as as food safety professionals, that you're able to move around. So we love sharing that, that this is a space that you don't have to have it all figured out, but we'll help you with some information. The tasting room event is kind of like the cornerstone of FoodGrads. It's the first event is November 1. It's the first of what we're hoping will be 3 events every year ongoing, and an amazing opportunity to network with employers, to find your co-op opportunity or your first job out of school. And that's really the goal. We are working with employers in terms of asking them if they would host job shadowing opportunities or mentorship. So we are trying our best to get employers involved in supporting students and grads, along the way, while they are still students, but also obviously hiring them and being available to them and showcasing their opportunities. And this is the place to do that. It is a virtual event, so that I think it's a lot more accessible. We know employers, I would say, the vast majority do not have. There's probably 4 or 5% that have a dedicated campus recruiter, or even have strong human resources departments. So oftentimes, graduate recruitment strategy is not high up on their priority list. But we know that it's so important to keep that pipeline full. They should absolutely be prioritizing it, but it's not always doable. It's just not the case for them because they don't have the resources. So this kind of I've kind of listed here the value to employers, but I will reiterate that for students, it's a great opportunity to connect with your peers. We do offer employers the opportunity to have a meet us session, 2 sessions per event. And yeah, as I mentioned, these events are ongoing. For November 1 and April 3rd are booked, are a go, and we're already reaching out to employers and getting them interested. We have, at the top of my head, Maple Lodge Farms, Wonder Brands, and Benko, which is a pet food company, signed up. I think Embassy Ingredients are close, so I'd have to check again, but it's really been, we have had quite a good uptick. So we know that there's a need there, and it's just a case of facilitating that for employers and being that connection. And I should add that schools will have a booth there as well, so they can connect with employers to learn if their programs are, are landing with them, if there's something they need to tweak, that sort of thing. We know that kind of intelligence is really information is really important to colleges and universities. So I'm going to switch gears slightly and talk about CareersNOW. As I mentioned, back in 2017, we did partner with Food and Beverage Ontario, Taste Your Future. Taste Your Future kind of evolved now into CareersNOW, and it is a multi-year workforce development initiative. FoodGrads is thrilled to be a program partner. They're doing some amazing things, and they have some significant dollars behind them this year. One of the main things I wanted to share today, we're really excited about, is about $500,000 was put towards an external third-party marketing organization. So we have an organization called Blue Door, who are putting together an entire campaign around the food and beverage processing sector, and to promote the positions, career paths, to promote the industry overall as a phenomenal place to carve out a meaningful career. I'm excited because a lot of the work that we've been doing over the years has been organic, and you sort of don't have that opportunity to reach as many people. So we through this campaign, they're going to be having posters in public transport and service stations and all that sort of thing. So you'll get to see CareersNOW and the food and beverage processing sector front and center in a lot of spaces, and certainly where students and grads will be. That's really important as well. So I'm thrilled that we're having that kind of support from the government, because it's been a long time coming. I feel like other industries have definitely been given a lot more support over the years, and we all eat, and it's so important that this industry is funded. So this kind of outlines who the partners are, and we do have free job fairs available. If you are a recent graduate, they're going to probably be more interesting to you. They are a mixture of employers. They are looking more at the production supervisors, the millwrights, the packaging operators, the supervisors. We do know from speaking to employers that was a big, they were impacted greatly for those types of roles, the skilled trades, the production roles, definitely an area, general labor, huge area that employers are looking to fill. So we found that these job fairs have been more geared towards those types of roles. However, there's still an amazing opportunity to network with the employers that are there. So even if you don't fall into those categories, those job fairs are available. And we are also going to be at the Level Up job fair that focuses in skilled trades on November 15th. So we are offering those job fairs, and actually I personally, FoodGrads partners on those job fairs, so I'm always at those events, and they've been going really well. I can say that since we started them 2 years ago, we've learned a lot about how to deliver these types of virtual events, so they're great. I wanted to talk more about these mentorship sessions with this group. I think this would be very interesting to you. As part of the partnership with CareersNOW, FoodGrads delivers 6 mentorship sessions. It's 6 mentorship sessions and then 6 what we call post-secondary engagement sessions. So 12 in total. The first one we had on Tuesday, and the subject was, what can you do with an engineering degree? And these are public live streamed events We live stream through Facebook, but I think the next one will be on YouTube as well, both available both through the Food and Beverage channel as well as the FoodGrads YouTube channel. So there, you know, we try to get interesting speakers that, you know, are passionate about the industry. As I mentioned on Tuesday, Dan and Swarna talked about their career path, what they do in their organizations and how their engineering background has enabled them to move through the industry. And they also spoke about, you know, what they see as an engineer in the industry in terms of other opportunities available to engineers. So that one was a very cool session, lots of great questions. And wherever possible, we do bring in our campus ambassadors. Everybody by now, after 2 years of doing this, is sick of hearing from me. I would think so. Dania joined us on this session, and you know, she had some great questions. She's a current student. She has that perspective, and we were thrilled to have her. She, as I say, had some really, really good questions and was able to kind of represent the student body on the call. And we have the next one will be focused on skilled trades, particularly millwrights. And then you can see going forward December, PhD, postgraduate. What can you do with that? What can you do with the culinary, you know, for your culinary program, life sciences? And then we're partnering with, we have Onika is a partner of CareersNOW, and Lorraine, our delivery partner, is going to be sort of supporting that session so that we can connect with our Indigenous communities. So that one will be focused more there, and some the schools and colleges and universities in the northern regions there. So that kind of covers the mentorship session. So you're welcome to join. Follow FoodGrads, follow CareersNOW on social, and you'll always be made aware of when these sessions are. But I will add, if you want to subscribe to the FoodGrads newsletter, we remind people of all these things as well. So anything that FoodGrads is doing and anything that CareersNOW is doing, or really anything that we find that could be of interest in the food and beverage processing sector for students and grads, we'll let them know through that newsletter. So it's a good thing to subscribe to. So these are the other 6 sessions that I mentioned. These are more directly with the schools, but I think it just kind of shows you what we're doing to promote the industry. We had a session with Centennial College. We talked about alternative careers. We had our launch event, not our launch event, but we joined the launch event with University of Toronto. There was a range of different co-op students that were invited to that event, and I think we saw around 300 students. And again, maybe 2 or 3 had thought about working in the food industry and sort of beelined us. The rest kind of moseyed on by and were like, "What are you all about?" And then we told them about the industry and the opportunities and the resources that we have available. And you know, we definitely saw an uptick in the newsletter subscription after that, which is great. That's the purpose. And I will add that there were, I think, around 100 exhibitors there. And apart from us representing the food industry, there was one food company there. So it just goes to show that, you know, it does prove that there is a need for the tasting room event to connect students and grads with industry, because we know they don't have the time to go and spend in person at these events. We did a session with Ivy Business School on sustainability. It was really interesting. 2 speakers, Pete and Dimitri from Dole Packaging. Obviously, when it comes to food waste, fresh fruits and vegetables are the key, you know, I would say, you know, the area that we have to focus on the most. And to hear from an organization what they are doing, what sort of plans they have. Pete was the marketing and sustainability lead for the organization, and Dimitri was their supply chain lead. And it's just, I didn't know the depths that, you know, Dole were going, and it was just fascinating. I think it's really inspirational to share these types of conversations and information. You know, the pineapple leaves are, they've partnered with an organization, for example, that are making textiles and making, you know, the byproducts are going into clothing and that kind of thing. I mean, super interesting, really inspiring, and we hope to do a lot more of those types of things in the future. We have Guelph, Niagara, and Conestoga coming up. Again, there'll be more. Those details will be shared as time goes on. In fact, I owe Guelph the description of the session, but we will certainly be again looking to them. What do they want to hear about? What kind of speakers might they be interested in hearing from? Yeah, like really exciting to share this information. This should be of interest to our students and recent graduates as well. CareersNOW, I should say, Food Processing Skills Canada is offering job-ready skills training. So these are 14 courses available in multiple languages, and some of them are 2 hours. I think the I Am Food is 4 hours, but all really accessible, all online. You get a certificate afterwards, and they're all free. And I mean, I think if you are struggling, obviously people often come to me and say, I want to get into the food industry, but I don't have any experience. I don't know how to start. Experience is number one. But if you can add some of these courses to your skill set, and then obviously to your resume, then you can put these keywords on your resume and you can get found. I think that's the most simplest way I can put it. If a recruiter is looking at your resume and none of these keywords are on your resume because it's challenging for you to include them, then this is a great piece of advice, I think, for students and grads. Look around, see what you can do, just so you can get this information onto your resume. It will transform how you're viewed as somebody that could potentially join the industry if you don't have the hands-on experience. This one is typically going to be for employers, but just so you know that we are offering subsidies and pushing and promoting employers to hire students and grads. We are doing our best. It is challenging to connect with employers. There's about 8,000 employers in the food and beverage processing sector across Canada. But as I mentioned, they're small and they aren't on LinkedIn, and they aren't in the places that you might be. So it's really challenging to connect with them, and that's what we're trying to do through our various marketing campaigns and just through the work we're doing with CareersNOW and FoodGrads. We are doing our best to make it easy for them to hire students and graduates. And for employers, again, there is an opportunity to post jobs for free through the Magnet platform. That's something that employers can certainly look at. And I don't think I included here, no, I didn't. But if you are a job seeker, you can create a job seeker account as well through CareersNOW. If you go to careersnow.ca and then look up job seeker, you will be able to access all of this information as well. So I probably bombarded you today with a lot of information. My last slide is just kind of my contact details, but I will share those with Maren, and happy to answer any questions you might have if I can. And thank you for listening to me today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm frankly blown away by how many resources there are. And I wish all of this was available to me when I graduated in 2003. So, okay, so let's see if there's if you have any questions from the group. Ellen?
Yeah. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Ellen.
Yay, in December, I'll finally find out what I can do with my PhD degree, right? It's one of them. Just kidding. I know how the situation was a little bit before the pandemic. Now, what have you seen the changes after, like those a year after the worst is over? How has that shifted, and what do you see that is happening that the needs are not being met in terms of engaging in the employment and the employers not talking with the same language? Because there are enough people that wants to work, but then there's also so many positions available.
I think it really is the connection piece. It's finding each other. You know, I love this industry, but it hasn't always helped itself in terms of promoting what it needs, you know, with regards to hiring people. And I do think it comes down to resources that they have, you know, the human resources that they have to make those connections and make them more available. In terms of, I think at the beginning of your question, you mentioned what have I personally seen in terms of what employers are focusing on now, definitely still focusing on hiring people. That there is still that goal, but we're also seeing a massive push towards retention. You know, it got to the point where I don't know if a lot of companies were focusing on upskilling people, asking them, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And what happened through the pandemic was it got crazy. As a recruiter, we saw the side of this. Salaries were getting out of control because companies were so desperate to fill gaps, fill positions, that, you know, a job seeker was asking for, you know, whatever salary, and companies were like, you know, sure, we'll give it to them. And then realizing, oh my gosh, we've got internal equity to consider. What if, you know, somebody else in the organization finds out we hired that person on a high salary? All those things were happening. And HR people were literally pulling their hair out saying, you know, we can't, this is not feasible long term. And so the switch became, how can we keep our people happy? So that recruiter, that annoying Nicole, or any of those recruiters that tap you on the shoulder and talk about alternative opportunities, you know, the people aren't leaving, the people are staying more so. So I definitely saw that shift. But, you know, Ellen, I think you're right. There's always been that struggle, and I've been at the middle of it with students saying, I can't get a job. Why aren't I getting hired? I've been, you know, applying, and they're not getting hired. And then the employers saying, we can't hire. And so it is a little bit of an enigma. We're not sure exactly what the answer is. You know, I don't have sort of research or data to say this is the answer, but from my own observation, I think it's just resources. They need it, but they haven't got the time to allocate to hiring for that person. As a recruiter, I have searches where hiring managers aren't looking at the resumes that I send them for a week or 2 weeks. That's just the nature of what's going on right now. Everyone is very, very busy. And so, you know, I don't know if that fully answers your question, but hopefully it gets better with things like the tasting room or other things that we can do to facilitate closing that gap. That's our goal, because I know it's very frustrating.
Oh no, I loved hearing about the other side, you know, like the secrets behind all the recruitment and all that, and you can give us that, you know, that scoop.
Anytime.
I'm sure we're gonna have some more questions, but in the meantime, we do try to take a bit of a screenshot from all our events. So if any of the participants are comfortable turning on their camera just for a few seconds, so Ellen can take a screenshot, please do that now, and then we'll continue with the Q&A period. So whoever is comfortable, just please turn on your camera, as many people as we can get.
Don't be shy, you all. You'll be.
Oh, Ellen will make you turn on the camera if you don't. So just
don't worry,
do it.
You'll be featured at OFPA page, and then you never know.
It's going to put a circle around your name and say they didn't turn on that.
No, just kidding. Making everyone comfortable. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got it. I hope I'm usually the one that not shows up well, but you all look pretty. Don't worry. Wonderful, competent. It's gonna look great, you all. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks. Thank you, Ellen. All right, let's go back to Q&A. Do we have any questions from the group? Yes, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Yutan. Oh, you might be on mute.
Oh.
Yep.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, Maureen. It's very nice to listen to you for whom just fresh off the pond, just graduated from the grad school. And also, I noticed after you mentioned the testing room, tasting room for the documents, and I checked out on LinkedIn, but there's no registration website there yet. So may I know how do I register as a participant?
So that's a great question, and I'm going to feel bad now, potentially. Right now, the education partners that we're working with, they are the only ones that are able to share the tasting room event with students and graduates. It's really our way to encourage more schools. So where did you graduate from?
University of Guelph.
You're good, you're in luck. So they are a partner. So we will, I think our event page should be up any day now. But you should have received it through your contacts at school. But I'll talk to them again and say that, you have my email, right? It's quick and easy thing. Just send me an email and I'll send you the link. But you should have heard about it through your school, but I will nudge them and let them know that we've had some people asking.
Okay, thank you. But I don't know if I have your email, but may I?
I have it. I'll pass it on to you, Tom. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'll send it your way.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the presentation today.
You're welcome. Thank you, and thanks for joining the tasting room. We're looking forward to seeing you then.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to see you there too. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, you, Tong. And I see you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Maren. I'm from the University of Guelph as well. I teach in the food safety and quality assurance area. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, Fong, but sounds like our paths should have crossed at some point. My question is, when I looked at the education partners, you have University of Guelph up as co-op services. Does that mean that the University of Guelph is a partner or just co-op services? Because I haven't seen this either. And I'm the director of the Food Safety and Quality Assurance Program.
So I should add you, great question. I should add you to my sort of list of people that I reach out to. So again, we should exchange email addresses. When I reached out to University of Guelph, I think I've got like 20 contacts. So I kind of assume that it's been, going far and wide. But yes, it's the entire school. When a school or a college or university becomes an education partner, it's the entire school. So for example, Lambton College, I think I saw Kim there earlier. So all the campuses, all the students across all the campuses can join. It's a school membership. So anybody and the reason we've done that is anybody that is interested in the food and beverage processing industry, like I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we don't just want people to attend that are in the food program, so the food science program, for example, because if they are in, a general science or psychology, but have an interest in the food industry, we want them to come and network.
So if I can continue my question, did I hear you say that you did presentations for the universities as well that are members? And if so, can we invite you to do that? And what kind of lead time would you need?
Yes, you can absolutely invite me to do that. I've reached out and I've offered, but I know it's the beginning of the year, so maybe it's just we're at a point. I am talking to Carolina. No.
Don't know.
Okay, we'll talk. There's a session coming up, as you saw, so maybe it's a case of letting you know the date and having you share it with your network as well.
Perfect, thank you. I can certainly share it with the Department of Food Science and with our food safety graduate students, which would be great.
Amazing. Lovely.
Thanks very much. Good presentation.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Anne. Okay, do we have any other questions from the group? Okay, if you're still thinking, I do have one. So other than using all of these resources, Nicole, which are plentiful, lots to choose from, what is one piece of advice that you would give to recent graduates or students that are about to graduate at some point in the future?
I mean, the one piece of advice I would suggest, if that's in terms of starting their career, take a leap of faith. Even if the company is not your ideal organization. It's not maybe the ideal position that you want. Relevant hands-on work experience is so important to employers, and I would say that this industry definitely has a bias for promoting from within. So if you start in a role that maybe isn't the you know, like I say, the one you want, maybe it's on the packaging line or something, you know, it's not exactly what you're looking for, but maybe it's the organization that you want to work for, and it's certainly the industry you want to be in. If you show them your work ethic, you show them your interest, you will be promoted. I can't tell you how many individuals that we've had on those mentorship sessions over the last 2 years now that said, you know, I started on the production line and now they're the VP of supply chain, you know, or a production manager or a plant manager. And I think, you know, not to sort of shift gears entirely, but I think one of the misconceptions of this industry is that the wages aren't good and salaries aren't good, and that, you know, people start on minimum wage and that's where you stay, because they almost have that food service mindset that, you know, it's minimum wage and it's really hard to work your way up. And that's just not the case. You know, through Careers in Food and the Talent Solutions group that I work with, we do offer compensation benchmark review so that employers can gain that data. And certainly we're looking to share more data around salaries to showcase that, yes, maybe the starting salary isn't wonderful. I mean, it all varies depending on the organization, but the opportunity to grow and work your way up is 100% there. This is, you know, as a recruiter, I don't think from the manager level, I don't work on any positions that are under $85,000 a year for a management level role. That's typically upwards of that. So I don't want to be sort of misleading. You don't start on that, and it would be naive to ask for that coming out of the gates. You don't want to do that, but you certainly have that opportunity in a relatively short space of time if you're willing to work and show your interest in moving up and being promoted, and really it comes down to your work ethic. A lot of these are family based companies, family run companies in the food industry, and if they like you and you're doing a great job, you really can do very, very well in this industry.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate that. Okay, do we have any more questions from the group? We still have about 10 minutes, so ask away. If there's anything burning, something you always wanted to know, this might be the chance.
And as I mentioned, I'm happy to answer any questions afterwards. If there's anything on the website, we are changing and updating a number of our pages. So if something is not quite like, that doesn't tally with what Nicole said, ask me, because we are updating a few of our pages and looking really for feedback. I mean, I look at the FoodGrads website as your website as a student and grad or recent grad. We have a page on there that says start here, and that was put together by Veronica because she's like, sometimes it's just really confusing, like where do you start? So I'm like, okay, great, create a start here page, you know, and sort of go through the steps that a student that's new to this platform or a recent graduate should follow, and to get the most out of the resources that we share and what we're doing. So hopefully that helps. But if you have any feedback, you know, we're all ears, and definitely if you're one of our education partner schools, we would love to have more campus ambassadors. If we have people championing the industry on campus, that's ideal. You know, it's so inspiring for people to hear from their peers of why they've chosen the food and beverage processing sector. And so we want more of that. And that's something that in 2024, we're really looking to double down on our campus ambassador program. And we're launching in the US as well. And so we feel like there's a lot of opportunity to have inter-school competitions, and that's been asked for a lot, to get more participation from schools and more excitement. And hopefully that channels back to the school and gets more students excited about the industry. You know, like a broken record, but we all have a vested interest in attracting the brightest, most socially conscious, you know, people to this industry. So yeah, I can talk about this.
You're cutting out a bit for me, Nicole. Is it me? Did everybody else lose Nicole, or was it just me?
Zero. No, we all lost.
Oh, okay.
She's frozen.
Oh yeah, same here. Same here. Okay, so hopefully the connection will recover soon. If not, I just want to say that well, first of all, thank you for joining today. We will. Oh, she might be back. Nicole, we lost you for a sec. Okay, but you're back. Looks like you're back. Amazing. Anyway, so we'll definitely share the deck with everybody. Recording will be available as well. So if somebody from your university or college or circle of friends or family, even if they missed this presentation, you think they could have benefited from it, please share it. Last chance to ask any questions if there's anything else burning on your mind. And if there isn't, then we'll stop here. Again, thank you so much, Nicole, for your time. Thank you to all the participants for joining. And we'll give you a bit of time back. So have a great rest of the day and the rest of the week. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me, Maren. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.